Welcome back everyone to another instance of What If? So I chose another Injustice character because after doing Solomon Grundy last month, I got a bit inspired. And I chose one of my favorite Injustice characters today. But before we get to that, why did I choose Injustice Gods Among Us, in this instance Injustice 2, for my What If? Well, I think it's not. There we go. Sorry. One, it would bring fan favorite DC characters to the game. Fighting games have always translated well into UVS from the very beginning of our game, and I think any sort of DC property would be a money printing machine. Of course, once we put up all the money for the initial buy-in. I don't know why I gesture so much in these. You guys can't see me on these ones. So for the What If today, I have a 3-symboled character because it's just easier for me to do than 2 symbols right now. I have 4 attacks and 4 foundations in this character's kit, designed as the old school Universus when we actually had character kits. And I designed a bonus card for this character, and once you see how this character works, you're going to understand why that bonus card comes into play, although it also comes into play with another character I have an idea for, so keep on the lookout for that. As with former What If scenarios, these are basically just my ideas of how this character would play, not necessarily how, the end-all be-all of how they should play. And I am getting a little bit better at these. I'm trying to put more work into these, but game design's hard, guys. So I thought one of these a month would be easy. Turns out I'm a procrastinator. But enough about me. Let's talk about Scarecrow. This is one of my favorite Batman villains, and when he was in Injustice 2, he was one of my mains. So I wanted to see if I could give Scarecrow something to do in Universus. He is a Chaos, Evil, and Void character in my design. He's a 7-hand size, 20 health character. I don't think he's a big beefy dude. I think he's more small and squishy. And he's got a static effect that says your rival attacks will get -1 speed and -1 damage for each fear counter on their character card. Your rival's character gains I really need to proofread these. Gains the following ability: Enhance. Discard 1 card, remove 1 fear counter from your character. Now, how does your character get fear counters, you might ask? As a response, once per turn, after your attack deals damage, place 1 fear counter on your rival's character. So it's kind of like him using his fear toxin to infect your rival, making them, slower, weaker, lashing out, not really focused, but they can fight it, the whole mind over matter thing, by discarding cards from their hand to get rid of those counters. I had initially not limited the response to once per turn, but I thought that might be a little too busted. So instead I added a couple more ways in his kit to add fear counters to your character. But yeah, I wanted to give your rival a way to get rid of them, so it's not overly oppressive, but also kind of fits the theme of, really trying to torture people. So let's get on with his first attack. Now, I know people say that I can just create the cards, the images, and I do have a lot of the files to do so. My main issue is trying to find the images that work well for like the pictures. Because I don't own a lot of these games, or I don't own a lot of these shows. It's really hard for me to, in my technologically inept state, capture these images as I need. So, theater of the mind, I will explain kind of where I came up with these different ideas for these attacks. The first one is Toxin Breath. It's an attack that he uses where he literally just breathes his fear toxin into the face of his opponent. It's a 3 difficulty, 3 control, ranged and stun 1 attack. It's a 1 mid for 0. So it's just a basic, I'm going to stun 1. That's kind of fun. I'm 1 damage. Do you really want to block 1 damage? Or do you just take the fear counter? Also, this has no block modifier. I think that is thematic because it is a breath weapon, and it's kind of hard to block by breathing in someone's face, so I chose to have this have no block modifier. It's not that I forgot to add a block modifier, although I did forget to add block modifiers to every card and had to go back through, but I thought this one specifically did not need a block modifier. Our next attack is Fearferno. So this was a cool attack where he would actually create like a swamp of fear underneath his opponent. So that is why this is a 3 low for 4. It's a 4 difficulty, 3 control, 2 high block with the charge keyword, excuse me. As an enhance, your rival commits 1 foundation, only playable if there is at least 1 fear counter on a card in your rival's stage. So, bit of future proofing in case other characters use fear counters. And then we have response. After this attack is blocked, your rival commits 1 foundation. So kind of making it hard for your rival to continue on. They're kind of stuck in that fear swamp. You know, it's messing with their feet. They're caught off balance. So that's kind of how the thematic movement of them committing foundations works in my head. Next we have Death Spin. This is an attack that he uses where he kind of helicopters his sickle and chain to attack people in the face. It's a 5 difficulty, 3 control, weapon keyword. It's a 5 high for 4 with a 3 high block. I figure because it's also him swinging the thing high, so kind of makes sense for high attack and a high block. As an enhance, if this attack is completely blocked, add the top card of your deck to your momentum. So, kind of replaces itself pretty good. It's a 5 high, so it really makes it hard to completely block it, but if they do, you still get that momentum. And you might have noticed that there's not a lot of like keyword abilities aside from stun, so why do you need momentum? For Deathbed. This was his ultimate attack, where he kind of created this big hallucination that he just absolutely obliterated you in. It was insane. It is a 7 difficulty, 3 control with the Fury keyword, 6 mid for 6, 1 low block. As an enhance, spend X momentum, place X fear counters on your rival's character. Your rival may commit X foundations to cancel this ability, maximum 4. So you can spend up to 4 momentum to give them 4 fear counters. And if they don't have 4 foundations to commit, they just have to take them, and their attacks get -4 speed, -4 damage. They would have to play an attack and then just pitch a card from their hand to get rid of those counters for each attack they play. So it is kind of them working to overcome things, but man, that's why a lot of his attacks don't really have much else to do. It's just, you want to block him, because if you give him momentum, he is going to hit you with a deathbed. On to our foundation base. We have Master of Fear, because that is what Jonathan Crane says he is. It's a 3 difficulty, 5 control, 2 mid block, unique. Enhance once per turn your turn. Discard 1 card. Place 1 fear counter on your rival's character. So another way to gain fear counters. It's once per turn, it's during your turn, you have to give up a card. I think it's worth it. And then we have a Deadlock form, once per turn. Place a fear counter on your rival's character. So if they go into Deadlock, you can just start scaring them for free once per turn. I think that's really neat. And I just wanted to give a little bit of extra ways to add the fear counters. One in the foundation base, one in the attack suite. Just so you're not just dependent on your character. Next we have Be Afraid. A 2 difficulty, 4 control, 3 low block foundation. Enhance commit your attack with 1 or fewer keywords, gets +2 speed and or +2 damage. So if we take a look back, we only have Fury here, we only have Weapon here, we only have Charge here, but we do have 2 on the Toxin Breath. I figure this one is just funny. I don't want to make it a 2 mid 1 or a 0 mid 3. It's got stun 1, so I was like, it's fine. But the ability to give your other attacks either 2 speed or 2 damage could push them over the edge to where they could really be hard to deal with. And then we have a once per turn Tenacious response. After your rival discards 1 or more cards, your rival loses 1 health. This cannot reduce your rival below 1 health, because I hate burn damage that can kill. And this is not unique. So if you have 4 of these, your rival discards a card in order to get rid of a fear counter, they could lose 4 health. That's really, really strong. So I did not want that to be able to reduce your rival to 0 health. We have The Doctor is in. I just thought this was kind of a cool thing, and I'm pretty sure he says something like that in one of his taunts or something. It's a 2/5, 3 mid-block. As a response, flip if there is a fear counter on your rival's character, gain 2 health. We are a squishy 7-hander. We want all the defense and extra health we can get. We also have response remove. After your attack is completely blocked, draw 1 card. So kind of increasing our economy so that we can try to push those even more attacks through to really put the fear of the Scarecrow into our rival. Our last foundation in the kit is Traumatize, a 3 difficulty 5 control with no block modifier and the Fury keyword. As a first enhance remove, reduce the damage of your attack to 1. It becomes unblockable. So, I'm not giving it flash or anything, because I don't want this to instantly win games. I want your rival to be able to, say, reduce its damage to 0, give them a bit of a fighting chance, but just to be able to say, hey, this is going to deal 1 damage and I'm putting a fear counter on you. I'm going to traumatize you no matter what. I just think it's really neat, and this can enable so many different on-hit triggers, like if this attack deals damage, your rival loses a health, or if it deals damage, draw a card, stuff like that. This could be a good way to guarantee some of those abilities while not making it too overpowered to where your rival just can't deal with it. So I thought it's a really cool technical piece, and I really thought it kind of worked thematically. So that's it for Scarecrow's kit, but I do have one additional card for you, and that is Fear Vaccine. This is a 0 difficulty 6 control foundation with a 2 low block and breaker 1. As a form, sacrifice Fear Vaccine, remove up to 2 fear counters from 1 card in either stage. So maybe there's another character I have in mind that's going to be doing fear counters that might keep them to themselves. I don't know why I'm playing coy with my face. You guys can't see me. But yeah, I did have another fear-based character that I thought would be really cool. So I wanted to add this, and this would actually have the infinity symbol. I did not put that on here. I really should have. But it would have the infinity symbol so anyone could run it, and it kind of just helps keep fear counter characters in line a little bit. You don't want them to go too overboard with, you know, I just hit you a bunch and you have like 8 fear counters, so all of your attacks get -8 speed and damage unless you discard 8 cards. That's just not feasible to me. So I wanted to make it a little bit more fair, and I figured something that could sacrifice and then you can maybe build it in later with something could really work. Maybe I'd give this the tech keyword as well on second thought. Full transparency, I did about a whole month's worth of work in about 2 hours. So this is not my best, and I do apologize for that. But I wanted to get this out before the end of the month because I promised to do one of these a month, and I regret making promises that future me might not be able to keep. But what do you guys think of my take on Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow? I think this ability to kind of like manipulate your rival's stats is kind of on theme because he makes people hallucinate fear, and you know, you could be paralyzed with fear, which could work with the committal of foundations. It makes you weaker because you're not really fighting him, you're fighting against yourself. I thought it was pretty on theme. But what do you guys think? Do you think I nailed the theme of the Scarecrow from Batman? I really think I did. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and maybe if you have an idea for a character to, well, I'm not going to say if you have a character idea for me to do, because I might not know that character and have no idea what to do with it. But I am going to be doing more of these, maybe not exactly one a month, because I have been kind of busy lately, but I'm going to definitely do these as often as I can, because they are really fun thought experiments for me, and I actually have a few in the chamber as soon as I can figure out what their kits do. I have the character ideas, but not necessarily the full kits. So, actually, yeah, would you guys prefer like just character breakdowns of what I think certain characters would do, or do you enjoy the full kit experience of how I think this character and their full kits would play in Universus? Let me know. I'd really be interested to see if you guys are just here for the characters or if you think the full kits are cool too. So let me know that. Leave a like on the video if you thought this was entertaining, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys.